Racial profiling, stop and frisk is going nuts in New York City, right? It's all the rage. What is stop? First of all, let me give you a little. I'll give you a little statistic. Did you know that the police stop in New York City have soared 600% under Mayor Bloomberg? 600% in the past decade. And they've stopped 684,000 people just in 2011 alone, and over 5 million people over the last 10 years. In fact, they've stopped and frisked more black men in New York City than live in New York City. That's a true statement. Can't make that any funnier than it already is. Or if you could.
They stopped some twice then.
Yeah, that, I'm guessing they stopped a couple of them twice, or they had to, right?
Why didn't those guys just say, "Hey, no, you already checked"?
Hey, no, you got me.
You got me.
You got my weed.
You got me already. Yeah.
You already got my weed. Now, and then now, of course, the police say they've already used tremendous discretion because they've never stopped and frisked any well-to-do white guys. So they are discriminating.
Right, sure.
They're not just going willy-nilly, and it makes me miss the moderate, benevolent law enforcement tactics of Rudolph Giuliani, doesn't it?
Totally, yeah.
Really love that
Good
warm,
times.
that liberal, lefty, soft touch. So, but somebody's going to explode it. Go ahead.
But wasn't crime down with Giuliani? Like, didn't whatever he was doing that wasn't this work?
Apparently, the blacks and Hispanics were still criming it up.
Yeah, so as soon as he left, they were like, we're going to go back, but Bloomberg stopped him.
So we're going to talk about this stop and frisk in New York City, and to do so, I've assembled a panel of 4 white guys, and
Where are they?
That's because I'm brilliant.
And I'm other. I'm actually other.
Are you other?
Yeah, I check other.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are
I'm just everything. So I consider
you're
that to be
everything?
other.
You're Norwegian and Southern Norwegian.
Yeah, exactly. So if you take a bunch of different boring European countries, I consider that to be. Oh, that's other.
That's okay.
That's other.
He's Danish and Swedish and a little German.
I'm 6.
Okay. So let's go. But we're going to have another white.
Was from Southern. My dad was from the middle
I'm
of
a little bit everything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So right now, we're going to have another white guy explain to us exactly what racial profiling is, and who better than Bill O'Reilly.
This is a racial story, not a drug story. Here in the city, we have stop and frisk policy, which has brought crime way down in New York, way down. Okay? And what that is the cops know who the wise guys are, they know who the dealers are, they know who the punks are, and they know who the muggers are. And they try to get these guys on anything. It's like getting Al Capone on tax evasion instead of murder. All right? So they know these guys carry pot and other drugs, and they stop and they frisk and they find them and they send them into the system. That's what drives crime down. Get them off the street. The left hates that. Hates it. Because it is racial profiling, but it's really criminal profiling.
Yes! Yes! It's criminal profiling because certain races are criminals. That's exactly what he's saying. The trick is you got to arrest them before they commit the crime. That is the trick.
It's timing.
It is timing. That is timing.
It's a thought crime at that point.
Let me just say, I love how he goes, the left hates it because it's racial profiling. Yeah, they hate it because racial profiling is another word for racism. And the left hates it, whereas the right doesn't hate it, I guess, because they exploit it for votes, right?
Yeah, they didn't hate racism in the first place.
Yeah.
We don't need another name for it. Yeah. Right. We're fine with the original name.
Yes, yes.
Good, it's solid.
I hate those wise guys too.
Yeah.
Those wise guys.
Those wise guys
are all over New York. They're just being so wise, and they're doing their weed in their pockets, just being all snarky.
Smart
It's nothing worse. Snark is way down. Sarcasm's way down. Everything's way down now. They're stopping. They should probably continue with it because these wise guys are just running ramshot over New York. There's just too much wise guyness.
Right. People are laughing. They're not getting any work done. A major dip in productivity.
Yeah.
Smart.
Weisenheimers.
Oh, Weisenheim, not that. No,
I was in New York recently, and I just got a totally wise guy. It was this thing where, I didn't realize what was happening until after the fact, because this guy was such a wise guy. If only someone had stopped and frisked him to take his wiseness away, I would be fine, But
so you're saying snark is way down in New York City.
Snark is way down.
But it's way up in the studio. I'll tell you that,
But the left hates that.
But, I hate it.
Yeah.
I like how he goes, see, the cops know who the criminals are. Yeah. Even though 99% of the people they stop and frisk are innocent of everything, they know that they're criminals.
The punks.
The punks.
The punks.
That's
These
right.
punks, man. These punks. They're coming out of CBGB. They got their wise guy weed. They're just, you know.
Also, just on a direct point, if they know who the guys are, the wise guys and the punks, well, then just stop them.
Yeah, but that's the problem. They
Right.
don't. That's why it's bullshit what he's
Take
saying.
a photograph, bring it with you. That's the guy.
That's the guy.
You don't arrest 100 other guys that are the same race.
Did you?
Who could tell them apart, though? That's the problem.
You know, you're doing that thing that the NBC did with the Zimmerman clip. Is that
What?
you're doing selective editing because you're not leaving in the part where Brian Kilmeade says, "Well, if they know who they are, Bill, then why don't they just arrest the actual criminals instead of stop and frisking everyone else?" I'm sure.
He would have said
that's
that.
what's coming up next. But you, being a liberal,
I'm being liberal. I took that part out.
that part out.
And I took it out because it didn't exist.
Oh, well,
And
all right.
I can't put something in that doesn't exist. Well, Bill does actually have some more to say about this.
However, there are a number of people who are stopped and frisked who don't have anything, and they get angry, and I understand that. But it's a crime-fighting technique.
Yes, yeah, he understands that they get upset, but it doesn't take much to piss those people off. You know what I mean?
They start out angry.
They're
Yeah,
so
really.
uppity.
They're so, come on, they're a little sensitive to
Yeah.
cops arresting them for no reason.
They should just make it where you don't have to stop. You still get frisked, but you don't have to stop. So
moving.
it's like, it's a walking frisk. I think that would probably cut it down and just like, I'm going to keep walking, but you can frisk me.
I'm on my way to the dentist. I got to keep moving.
I got to play, I have an appointment.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
I deal with bums. It's like, you can talk to me, but you're going to have to keep walking with me. We're going to go.
It's a walk and talk.
Yeah. It's like, I don't have time to stop, but we can keep going.
I like how he goes, it's a crime-fighting technique. It's a crime-fighting yeah, you mean, just ignoring the Constitution and all our laws. That is a great technique for fighting crime if you actually commit crime in the process of fighting the crime.
Bill O'Reilly's such a great broadcaster. He really is, because he says things with such incredible confidence.
Yes.
He's like, they knew who they go back to it. They know who they are. The cops know who they are. Well, then we wouldn't be having this if they knew who they were. Then
Right.
there's not an issue. And then instantly,
Go
in
to
the
their
next,
house and get them.
and the next point, he says some people are stopped, contradicting his first point, who didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we know the number of those some people who are stopped who didn't do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like 32%.
200,000
Yeah.
in the last year. The judge said 200,000 stops were illegal.
And overall, 90%
Are innocent.
nothing. Right, they're innocent.
Right.
They didn't do anything.
Right.
Let alone, and that doesn't count the 10% who had weed.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes. So
like
that
how much among the 10% just had
just
weed?
had weed on them.
90% didn't even have weed. Like, what's wrong with those guys?
So people
You're a
are-
black guy walking around the street in New York. For the love of God, at least have some weed. Know your role.
No.
Yeah.
They
So
just
he-
got to cut down on walking.
Maybe that's it.
People need to get cars and start driving them more. That's the problem. there.
Inside New York City.
Yeah, you just got to have more cars, and that will be.
That will solve a lot of our. Well, Bill has a little bit more to say.
Now going to take away from the NYPD, and mark my words, street crime in New York will go up because of it.
Yes, street crime's going to go. You stop harassing black and Mexicans. Street crime's going to go up. You know who's going to be happy about that? People who play their car radios too loud.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, if you know what I'm saying. That's what's going to be. So, again, people are okay with they're okay with it. That's like, yeah, it's racial profile. Yeah, we're doing something that's racist, but they're not frisking me outside of the Fox News station. So I'm totally okay with it. You would have been maybe really worked had these cops stopped and frisked some of these mortgage bankers before they stole our fucking houses from us. Maybe if they did that. Hey,
That
you
would
got
have been some good frisking.
you got a balloon payment loan on you? What do you got on there? You got an ARM?
I wish.